Hello everyone, I am so happy to see you again. Today is such a beautiful day. I think we should have a picnic in the garden. I'm going to make some fruit and sausage skewers, plus a sandwich and my very serious brownies. And we're going to start with the brownies. We need to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. Then I need to chop up some chocolate. So I have 8 ounces or 227 grams of bittersweet chocolate here. And I'm going to start by breaking one of these bars in half. This is about 2 ounces. And I'm going to chop it first and then set that aside. Just breaking up some of these larger chunks. Then we can chop up the remaining chocolate. Then I want to line my 8-inch square baking dish with parchment. I'm going to spray this pan with non-stick vegetable spray. Now we can melt all but the 2 ounces of chocolate in a bowl set over a pan of simmering water. This chocolate is almost completely melted. I'm going to take it off the heat and let it continue to melt. To the bowl of a standing mixer, I'm adding 1 1/4 cups or 284 grams of softened butter and 1 1/3 cups or 266 grams of sugar. Beat the butter and sugar until they turn light and fluffy. Meanwhile, in a small bowl, combine a 1/2 cup or 65 grams of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt, and a 1/2 cup or 50 grams of baking cocoa. My butter mixture is nice and fluffy, so now we need to beat in 4 large eggs. We need to fold in the remaining ingredients by hand. Starting with the chocolate, the melted chocolate. And then the chopped chocolate. And finally, I can fold in the dry ingredients. Now we can transfer this glorious chocolate mixture to the pan. Smooth out the top a little and be sure to push the brownie mixture into the corners of the pan. Fight the temptation to lick the spatula. I realize that this brownie recipe is a little more complicated than, say, my chickpea brownie recipe, which you and I made together a while back, but these brownies are uniquely wonderful. I will link the recipe in the description below. Let's pop this into the oven. It needs to bake until a skewer inserted in the center comes out mostly clean. That will take about 40 minutes. while the brownies are baking, I'm going to clean up my workstation, and then we need to make a short trip to the farm store because I need to pick up some other ingredients for our picnic. I also want to stop by Tierra Farm to grab some pine nuts that we will use for pesto. So take a short drive with me, and don't worry, there's someone in the house. The oven will be fine.
Wish that I could stay in this moment forever, so I can hold you in my arms. I will carry you on my shoulders as long as I'm able. Scare the monsters under your bed. Deep and abiding, liking for you is all I need. Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for you.
Tierra Farm is my favorite source for organic, fair trade coffee, tea, nuts, and dried fruit. The farm gave me a free shipping code that I can share with you. I will put the code in the description below. We are home again. Boy, that didn't take very long at all. I'm really lucky to have a couple of stores very near my house. So here are the wonderful pine nuts that we bought at Tierra Farm. And I'm going to toast the pine nuts just until they become fragrant. I'm using the pine nuts in the basil pesto that we're going to make in just a minute. By toasting the pine nuts, the pesto will have that additional layer of flavor. Pine nuts at my supermarket are hideously expensive. The same nuts at Tierra Farm, less expensive and higher quality. These pine nuts are getting a little color and they are definitely fragrant, so I'm turning off the heat. And then we can set this aside. Oh, I grabbed my food processor. I'm going to make a lot of pesto because I have a good amount of basil here that we bought at the berry farm. The berry farm grows basil and other herbs in greenhouses. You can buy these herbs any time of the year, including the depths of winter. I have basil in my garden, but the plants are too small for harvesting. And I do make basil with other herbs. You've seen me make chive pesto, for instance, which is super delicious. But I think for today's sandwich, I want basil pesto. Besides the basil, we will need some lemon juice and some salt and some garlic. I'm going to use garlic paste and olive oil. And this is the olive oil that we bought at Tierra Farm. I will also add grated Parmesan cheese to the pesto. There are no exact amounts of ingredients. I let my taste buds be my guide. have to taste this. It's fabulous. This has such a beautiful, fresh taste. It's a little thick. I want to make it more spreadable, so I'm going to add a little more olive oil. And that should do it. We can decant this to a bowl. I only need a small amount of this pesto to spread on a baguette, and the rest I will freeze. Pesto freezes perfectly. You and I made a lot of pesto last August from herbs in the garden, and I still have a couple of jars in my freezer. So wonderful to have in winter. I'm going to pop this pesto into the fridge for now, clean up my workstation, and then we need to make a sandwich and some fruit skewers. And our brownies are ready, I think. This looks wonderful, and I love that the top is starting to crack. I'm putting this on a cooling rack to let it cool completely or almost completely. One of the picnic items I'm going to prepare is, well, I will call them charcuterie skewers or charcuterie kebabs. So it's going to be fruit and meat. So I have some salame Milano here. I forgot to mention these skewers also have cheese. And this is Australian sharp cheddar cheese. We need to cut this cheese into little cubes. So what I do is take a little bamboo skewer and I spear a green grape. Then I take one of the salami and fold it up into a little wedge or a triangle. Skewer that. And then I take a cube of cheese. And there we have it, a nice little appetizer. I love this snapware. It's great for picnics. I can link these containers in the description below if you are interested. They're glass with a flexible plastic lid. And on to the sandwich. So I have the baguette that we bought at the berry farm. I'm going to try to wrap this sandwich in parchment. First, I need to cut the bread horizontally in half. I'm going to spread this beautiful, beautiful pesto along the bottom half of the bread. And I have some roasted turkey, which I have to open. Prosciutto. I absolutely adore burrata. If you've never tried it, you must. burrata is like a very soft mozzarella with a creamy cottage cheese inside. Again, super delicious. Then I want some roasted red bell pepper. And some of the beautiful pickled onions that you and I made together in a previous episode. And finally, some balsamic glaze. This is a hefty sandwich. I have never wrapped a sandwich in parchment before. So this is a learning experience for me. Then we can tie this sandwich up with string. Now we can slice this sandwich on the diagonal. I'm going to clean this up and then fetch my picnic basket. I almost forgot to cut up this brownie. This is such a decadent brownie. I hope you will give it a try someday. I think just 2 pieces for this picnic. So here is my picnic basket and a blanket. Brownies, sandwich, fruit kebabs. So it is just you and me on this picnic, but you can absolutely enjoy a picnic all by yourself, just as I have done many times. When I lived in New York City, I used to have picnics regularly in Central Park, just wrapping these goblets in a napkin to protect them. And all you need for a picnic is some little nibbles to eat and a view of nature. Now, my view of nature will be in my very own garden today, but a public park is a great place to observe nature. A couple of plates. The nice thing about this picnic menu is that it does not require any cutlery. No forks, knives, or spoons. Unfortunately, there is no room in my picnic basket for this bottle of Chardonnay. That's all right, I can carry it. Let's head outside. I found a shady spot just in front of the woodland garden for our picnic. I think shade is important for an enjoyable outdoor feast. We're going to start with the little charcuterie kebabs. This is a lovely way to enjoy charcuterie on a stick. When you go on a picnic, be sure to bring full-size napkins with you. The nice thing about wrapping a sandwich in parchment is that you can just pull back some of the parchment in order to eat the sandwich. We'll make less of a mess that way. And then you really don't even need a plate. This is surely one of the best sandwiches I have ever tasted. Now we can dive into the very serious brownies. And I did add some red raspberries to the plate. I think raspberries and chocolate go very well together. Oh my goodness. These are light and decadent. We have the wonderful chocolate that we melted, plus we have the little bits of the chocolate that we did not melt. And those unmelted bits give these brownies a special texture. They're just incredibly delicious. Thank you for spending time with me today as we prepared this very simple and very delicious picnic. I hope you feel inspired to have a picnic for yourself. It feels great to be out in nature, here in the shade, on a very pleasant day. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will give it a thumbs up. I can put a couple of my other videos at the end of this one that you can enjoy between now and my next upload. Until then, please treat yourself well. Please consider a picnic, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, friends.